Hey everybody, welcome back to the 6th round post-fight show with me, Zane Simon, my co-host, as always, Eddie Mercado, coming to y'all just from the close of UFC
Hey,
325 at the Kudos Arena in Sydney, Australia. That's my terrible Australian accent for you.
oh, did you do it? I missed it.
It's an
It sounds a lot
Australian,
like your Brazilian accent and your
yeah,
Russian accent.
yeah. It's an Australian with a stroke, with a bad head injury. So,
The CTE
yeah,
Australian accent.
exactly. Um, and yeah, we're coming to you guys just from the close of UFC 325, the pay-per-view thrown together in the Who Wants to Pay Extra Taxes sweepstakes. So nobody
Ugh.
did, clearly, which is why this card looked the way it did. Um, and yeah, it wasn't a very well booked card on paper, and it had some cool stuff. I'm not gonna say it didn't have anything cool, but we're just coming. Alexander Volkanovski, fresh off of his victory over Diego Lopes, and I like Volkanovski. I like Lopes. I
Sure.
enjoyed their first fight well enough.
Sure.
I didn't understand booking this rematch at all. Just we just saw the fight. Volk clearly won it. You don't book a challenger.
They need a Mexican champion.
Yeah. They should probably find a Mexican fighter then.
And then
But
also I think the way Lopez beat John Silva, I think really helped
I mean,
elevate that.
yeah, I'm sure if he hadn't won that fight in between. But if I was critical in hindsight, it really feels like there was no reason to run this back right now.
But
Like,
I mean, the first fight was reasonably close enough. But
what?
honestly,
I mean, that's
this
not what
the
you
re
do, though, right?
what's
Like, you
that?
don't. When a champion beats a challenger, even if it's close, you don't say, "Oh, well, let's get the challenger right back in there for the champ's next fight." Like,
Yeah, but like the people next in line, like an Evloyev, the UFC's not excited about that. I don't know
no,
what the
I know.
problem is with LaRon Murphy. I have no idea.
Yeah, I know that the UFC doesn't like their challengers, but this also, to me, is such a self-created problem. Like, how do you not like any of your best fighters? That's a you problem.
Yeah.
You put these guys, you signed them, you put them into the fights, you got them to this position, and now you're like, man, I hate these motherfuckers. Get them out of here. It's just like, come on, you know?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this fight was basically just it was Volk doing everything he did right in the first fight for the whole time.
Yeah. And Lopez not doing all the stuff he did right in the first fight.
Yeah, like none of the stuff.
Yeah. So
So,
yeah, it is hard to. I mean, I know a lot of MMA camps are not like actual game plan master classes. It's not nearly as much a part of MMA as we, as analysts and fans and talking heads and all that, want to think it is. A lot of fighters, they train, they go into the fight, and like I show up to fight. I look, yeah, I have a couple ideas in my head of stuff I want to do, but I'm not out here with like a whole 12-point bulletin, you know, plan
sure.
of how I'm gonna do this.
Like the whole, I'm gonna do my game and make them adapt
Yeah,
to me kind of mindset.
yeah, exactly.
But Volk's never been like that. Volk always
No,
has a game plan.
Volk always has a game plan, but I'm saying is that Diego Lopez clearly did not. Like, your game plan could not have been to go out there and have a slow paced kickboxing match with Volk and win that.
I think he
You
might have
know,
been banking on Volk getting tired again.
yeah, because you get tired because you tried to beat his ass the first
And
time.
and maybe the mindset was, Lopez did well enough in the first to where no big adjustments were gonna be needed. Just go out there and fight with the same plan you had last time.
But he just last time he tanked all the damage. He stepped into the pocket over and over again, ate the big shots, And he caught Volk in those little moments where Volk would try to do too much. He'd try to overextend, swing a little too wild, go a little too big, chase him a little too much. And this time, he tried not to tank any of the damage while creating the exchanges. He had like one moment where he really tried to step in, and Volk actually did really well with that moment. So congrats to him. But it's like that's still your cleanest path to victory, is to make Volk feel like he has to throw everything at you to stop you.
Yeah, you got to make him uncomfortable.
Because if you're just going to go out there and be like, well, I'll step into the edge of the pocket and I'll work my jab a little and I'll feint and I'll throw a 1-2 and let's see how you respond. He's like, okay, I'll slide around that, counter with a couple hooks, and then step away and make you start this whole process all over again. And
yeah, Lopes just needed to be far more aggressive.
Yeah. Like
That's when he has his most success against Volk. Don't give Volk a chance to think.
Yep,
but
exactly. And
kind of
credit
blew
to
it.
him. I think the rounds individually, many of the rounds were closer this time. Like
Not the
they were
first
just
two were close, but I feel like the
Yeah.
other three were kind of clear.
I mean, I'm not saying they weren't clear. I'm just saying like they felt a little closer, because in the first, Lopes was walking onto so many shots in the first fight that when he wasn't hitting Volk with something huge, it was like, God, Volk is working it. This fight is more like, oh, it's just not that much big offense, so it feels closer. But at the same time, like, you're also not, you're not actually getting, you're not as close to getting the floor mopped with you as you might have been the first time, but you're also not as close to actually winning the fight as you were the first time.
Yeah, that's true.
So
it really feels like a wasted opportunity.
Yeah,
for Lopes.
It does. And I mean, in part, I gotta say, it was too soon. Like, it's only been a year, and you're not going to be a totally different dude. It's not, it's just not going to happen. There was no need to run this back so fast. So it was an unfortunate end because the card didn't otherwise, like, it had some fun fights on it, but didn't otherwise have a lot of star power on it. It wasn't a big, like, oh, we got like 2 or 3 title fights, we got a bunch of top contenders, all that. It's co-mained by Benoit Saint-Denis, Dan Hooker. Like, they're not going to be contending for the lightweight belt next or even next year. They might not even be contending for it in 2 years.
Or ever.
Yeah.
Right.
So it is a disappointing way to wrap up the card. And
yeah, we got some cool finishes, but none of them really wowed me.
No.
None of them like blew my socks off, and I was like, oh, that's going to be a 10 ranking. That's a 10.
Yeah, no.
And then when we get a main event like that, like I can appreciate, I'll say, dominance of Volk.
Yeah.
The control.
He's 37. It's amazing that he's out there beating some dude who's like 10 years younger than, not 10, but 6 years younger than him. Is a very much a new breed of challenger.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is incredibly hard to beat. A lot of champions come up and they beat the guys that came before them. Volk beat Aldo. And then they beat and then they beat the guys that are of their own generation, which in Volk's case was Holloway. Holloway was very much the Volk class of champions. Holloway's still out there. Same, I think he's younger than Volk, but just because he started when he was like 15 or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, that's very much the same kind of class and era of champ as Volk. And where most champions then fail is they don't actually, the guys that come up after that, the guys that have been chasing them for years, that have been, when Lopes got to the UFC, Volk was champ. He got to the UFC in 2023. It's just 2 years ago. Like, his entire UFC career has been watching Volkanovski at the top and the elite.
Mm-hmm.
And it is incredibly hard to stop those fighters from beating you, you know,
especially at 145 pounds.
especially at 145 pounds. So,
Yeah, I mean it's really remarkable, and I think he tied Aldo's defense record. So,
technicality, but yes,
sure,
because they're not counting the WEC record. So,
yeah.
which
Well, you didn't count Dom's WEC record
the
his,
Hall of
his
Fame.
for
It's
his
true.
Hoff
It's true. It's true.
contribution. Yeah, but what's interesting to me is like where they go from here, because I
Yeah.
feel like, and even what I would like to see is John Silva get a crack at Volk. But I mean, it's hard to ignore the Evloev and LaRon Murphy situation,
Like
which,
I say, at some point, it just doesn't make sense for the UFC to be like, you don't like these guys. Great. What were you doing promoting them for the last half decade? You know, if you don't want them fighting, you can just release them. You don't
well,
have to have them.
maybe it's they just didn't materialize into a certain a certain level of popularity that maybe they were hoping for.
Great thing, cut them. You don't need to keep Movsar Evloev on your roster if you hate his guts now.
Uh, eh.
You said you are hedging on this when you don't want to see that guy fight ever.
I would like to see his rematch with Lopez.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
watch that.
I'm sure that they will try to get that booked. And if Movsar Evloev has any sense in his brain at all, he will say absolutely not.
Well, Volk on the mic was saying that they're going to book Murphy. Didn't he say they were booking Murphy and
He said
Evloev?
Murphy or Evloev. He said, and
Okay,
then he just hedged away and was like, I don't know what they're doing. Do
sure.
whatever, you
Typical.
know.
Yeah.
So, but
I
yeah,
mean, John Silva is the most exciting.
I love John Silva. I'm president of the John Silva fan club. You know, he has not yet responded to my 300 letters, but one of these days he
Well,
will.
it's because you were talking shit about the fighting nerds.
Yeah,
We
well,
didn't forget. You know he watches the show.
I do. But so yeah, I would, you know, I'm not gonna lie. John Silva he is the compelling fighter that I love and want to see. But they do have like, there's no shortage of challengers for Volk. He's essentially what it is. So you know, even if you don't want to see him face one of the others, or you know, if you don't want to see him face Murphy, you don't want to see him face Evil or whatever, they are still viable challengers, and Silva is right there too, and that's 3 title fights that you could do without actually having any of them have to earn a shot any other way, you know. So
Yeah. I have no clue. I think for the wow, damn, you know what? I can't even say, for the cash grab, you got to book the Silva fight
it's not
because,
going to make
like,
any money.
they're not. Well, I guess they do sell pay-per-views elsewhere.
Yeah, but they're not gonna. That's not gonna be the difference maker in the pay-per-view sales.
It'll be more substantial than anything else, other
Yeah,
than like a
but then
Topuria comeback or something crazy like that.
Paramount's paying them crazy money. They're playing with so much house money that, like, if they care about good cards and selling big fights and making fans, then they wouldn't be booking, you know, shit like what what do we got coming up here?
No, but I still think they're trying to come out swinging and show Paramount they can generate views, make that first impression.
Yeah, well, this was a mistake then as a card, but
Yeah. But we did get fight of the year, first fight out.
yeah. No, the last card, UFC 324, that was good.
Yeah,
Had they put 324 and 325 together, they could have made one amazingly good card.
sure.
But they split them, and nobody wants to fight in Australia. So
That is true too.
anyway, yeah, I mean, I think you at some point have to do Volk versus Evloev or Murphy or you have to try and find some way to convince one of those guys to fight John Silva or Diego Lopes or do something other than take a big money fight for a title, which they've earned.
Right.
And yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you do that. So I'm glad it's not my job to try and
Yeah, no kidding.
unfuck this mess. But yeah, I mean, so Volk has no. He's 37, but he's still champ. I don't. His next fight could be his last. He could fight easily. He has got challengers for a couple of years if he wants to keep going. I have no
Did you
idea.
pick him in this one?
I did not.
Mm.
I tried to read the tea leaves and say, yes, Lopes is worse than Volk at almost everything and is a much worse game planner and does not have a strategically elite game. But I also just think that if Volk has to keep fighting him over and over again so that the UFC can put a belt around Lopez's waist, Lopes will hurt him badly enough to win at some point. So I thought it might be tonight.
I picked Volk, but my picks tonight were terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. I got like 5 wrong, I think. Just absolutely wretched.
I think I'm sure I got at least that many wrong.
I know I got the first 3 wrong, and I got the roofie wrong, and I got the co-main wrong.
Oh.
So
We do have a question. How do you feel about Patchy Mix getting cut?
who's that? Yeah, I mean, it's probably the best thing for him, honestly. He just can't fight in the UFC, and I think he has a lot of soul searching to do and figure out like who he wants to be as a fighter and look himself in the mirror and really say, hey, maybe I'm not UFC caliber. Like I had some great fights in Bellator, but if I'm going to keep fighting, then maybe it'll better serve me to be in a smaller pond, so to speak. Or maybe he'll realize that fighting is not for him anymore.
I don't know. I mean, on the one hand, I do agree with you. Like, he clearly was not made to compete in the UFC in a meaningful way. And if his first fight in the UFC didn't prove it, his second fight was, you're fighting a guy fresh off the regionals, not known as an exceptional athlete, who's just big enough and like angry enough to compete with you. Like, that is that kind of thing. Like, he should be able to handle that. And that's when it became really clear that he just was
Well, hold on.
not.
He did fight like a really excellent talent. Like I think you lost to a KSW champion who's like actually pretty damn good. So to say he just came off the regional scene, I mean that's kind of selling him a little short. Like that's a tough out.
He's not bad, Wickless, but Vickless.
No, he's pretty damn good.
But he's also not like, I watched a lot of his fights on the regionals, and he wasn't getting through those fights based on like crazy athleticism or insane technical talent. It was.
I don't know. I think he's reasonably technical.
He's dogged. He's a hard worker. It's just for. I'm not saying he's no talent, but I am saying that for Patchy Mix, coming in trying to be the best fighter, it's claiming to be the best bantamweight in the world. That is a hard loss to take. The thing is, I will say that given that the UFC can afford it, I would much rather them keep around project fighters like Patchy Mix than keeping around project fighters like Cody Brundage.
I think there's more there's more fat to trim than in his division than up at the 185.
Yeah, or okay, then keeping 6
Well,
losses
hold
in a
on,
row
and like
tied to Ivasa
Brundage will just go out and brawl, and like he might not be good,
at
or
all.
but he is exciting. He is in exciting fights.
Yes, but that, I mean, it's just the way he what I'm saying is that, like, if you want to be if you want to even have the idea of the best fighting the best, they need to get away from being a league that stuffs itself with filler, you know?
Sure, but that's not what it's about, and
I
that's
know.
not what it's
I
about.
know that's not what it's about. So, but that's my thoughts on the Patchy Mix cut.
But man, like the thing is, like if Patchy could fight flyweights at bantamweight, I think he would have saw a lot of success in the
Of
UFC.
course, of course. I mean, I'm like, this is the things I don't want to stand up for him as the case because he was so clearly wrong for UFC bantamweight.
Yeah,
Guys that can compete with him at his own size in his own division turned him into a no fun bad fighter to watch.
yeah.
But when you're cutting him and then you are running Tai Tuivasa on his 7th or 12th straight loss out on a pay-per-view numbered card, main card at me, I'm gonna feel like you're just like being no fun to watch isn't the problem, you know, or even being
Tai
expensive.
Tuivasa tonight has like I feel like earned his worth in fun moments, in viral moments, and he can bring fans to an arena and fill seats.
He's Sam
Patchy Mix
Alvey
has
with.
none of that. He has no pizzazz. Like,
We are in a softer Sam Alvey era of Tai Tuivasa.
yeah, I mean, we could probably, yeah, that's probably fair.
You know. Anyway,
I love
uh,
Sam Alvey, but yeah.
so Volk, he's got plenty of options. Diego Lopez should be gunning for the Evloev rematch. If I'm Evloev, I do not in any way ever take that fight because it's too dangerous to give up the foothold they've already carved out of the division. But you
But it's
know,
also kind of like one of the only ways he can be exciting, in my humble opinion. I think that's the move to make.
it is probably the most likely thing Evloev could do that would actually get the UFC to treat him well.
Put it on a Mexico card.
The other option would be that I think there's a lot of actual bad blood between like Yair Rodriguez and Diego Lopez.
I remember that. Yeah. I don't know if they squashed it, but I do remember that. Like they had that press conference where like they
Mm-hmm.
blew up on each other.
Yeah. So that would be a fight too that I would also want to see him in. Yeah. All right. Let's get to the co-main event. Benoit Saint Denis, Dan Hooker,
Oh
and
wait, real quick, what would you rank that fight? The main event.
it's like star wise, our 5-star
Yeah,
system is what
yeah,
you're
yeah,
saying. We want to try.
yeah.
Oh, we're gonna try doing the 5-star rating system. That's right. Uh, as not bonus, but just mix it into the show, regular show. Do it anyway, just for the hell of it. I forgot because my mind's in 100 different places. Volkanovski Lopez, I would give that a 2.5. It gets docked an extra full star essentially by being a worse version of a fight I just saw.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I'll give it a 3 because it was kind of sterile. Like
Yeah.
there was a few exciting moments, but no big wow moments.
Yeah.
But Volk doing this at 37, like that's
No, it's
impressive. So
impressive. Yeah.
he gets a 3.
And it was technical. It wasn't like
Yeah.
you get to see a lot of good technique out of Volk. You got to see a couple of flashy moments from Lopez. Just not the fight I wanted. All right. That brings us to Benoit Saint-Denis, Dan Hooker, and this breaks my heart because, like a goddamn fool, I picked Dan Hooker going in,
I picked Dan Hooker too.
and I thought, because my thing is that Benoit Saint-Denis cannot fight on his back foot. He can't go backward.
Mm-hmm.
He is a very good fighter going forward, very fun, but very brutish. And my thought was, if he doesn't finish Dan Hooker right away, Dan Hooker's the kind of dude who all he needs is one little moment to turn the tide, one little point where you falter for him to build momentum in a hurry. He's always been a really quick momentum building fighter, great finisher. And Benoit Saint-Denis not being able to go backward, that gives the opportunity for Hooker to have those big moments. And sure enough, Dan Hooker actually started the fight that way. He came out and he started body kicking Benoit Saint-Denis.
Mm-hmm.
And Saint-Denis on the back foot and going backward. Benoit Saint-Denis does not have it. He does not know what to do with
I
himself.
scored that first round for Hooker.
Me too.
I know on the broadcast they were like, "Oh, BSD won that round. He took the round," and I'm just like, "Man, that is horrible."
Oh,
and I have an idea.
And like
I have such a good idea on how to fix the commentating problem. So
turn it
I
off.
feel like yes, this is even better than that. So it's like the commentators, they're there to appeal to the casual, right?
Yeah.
That's why they're there. They need to hire us to run a simultaneous, like like how they have Espanol and like all these different languages.
There we go. Yeah, a
They need
nerd cast.
a hardcore language. So
yeah, there we go.
That's what they need. They need a hardcore channel. So you want this in Espanol? You want it in hardcore, or do you want it in filthy casual?
Yeah,
that needs to be a thing.
It would be nice if they could actually be like, yes, we have a good, but see, then that's the problem, of course. It'd be like, yeah, we have a good commentary option too if you don't want the shit one. But
yeah, but like the average Joe, but that's
no,
the thing. Only the hardcores would know about it. So like
Yeah.
the filthy casuals can get their regular bullshit, but then we can, provide a service for the degenerates.
Yeah. Hey, I'm available. I'm right here. Anytime UFC wants to call me to work a mic and not actually ever have to carry any water for the brand itself, I'm your guy. If you need me to actually like show up and talk good about the UFC for a lot of stuff, that might not be my role, but
Yeah, no. That's not the
me.
point of the casual or the hardcore channel.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
The thing that kills me though is not picking Dan Hooker, because Dan Hooker went out right away and made it clear he could win this fight.
I know, and actually, the only reason he lost is because he botched a fucking takedown.
That's what I'm saying. Is that the tragedy here is that Dan Hooker wanted to out wrestle and out grapple Benoit Saint-Denis, and I cannot for the life of me think why.
I think he was just trying to get too slick for his own good, tried to get cute. The moment felt right. He was hitting it in training. Just couldn't help himself.
And it was like he got away with a lot of grappling with Saint-Denis for early in this fight. He was stuffing a lot of takedowns. He was going for a lot of submissions. He was making a lot of moves that were working really well and really competitive. But the long arc of every prolonged tie-up for Hooker would be that if he stuck with it long enough, he lost it. He would end up in the bad position, getting dominated. But he just it took so long to get to that bad point. It's like he forgot every time. By the time he'd get out, he'd be like, oh, I remember all the good things that went really well for me at the start of that tie-up. I'm going to go back in. I'm going to try to hip toss Benoit Saint-Denis. It's like, why?
It's like a just the tip kind of thing. Like, oh, I'm just going to put the tip in. And then before you know it, your ball's deep. Like, he got suckered into it.
Yeah.
He suckered himself into it. Yeah, man. I really thought he was going to pull this out. BSD was fading. He was getting hurt to the body. Like, he was struggling in that first round before he got on top. But man, there's no way BSD could survive 3 rounds of that. 3 rounds of what the first round looked like.
If Hooker just every time he escaped tie up, he just disengaged, backed out, and made Benoit Saint-Denis have to reset, go through the middle distance, go through the shot, eat the strikes, go through the whole progression. If you just made him reset every time, I'm not saying Hooker absolutely would have won, but
It was looking
all the
good though
pieces,
for him.
yeah, it looked good.
Yeah.
It was working for him.
Man, I really wanted him to win.
Yeah, I'm really pissed he lost this because he did not have to lose this. He did not have to lose it the way he lost it. That was totally unforced. Yeah, and I've seen this. I've seen a few people suggest it. This is the fight to book. Saint-Denis Pimblett.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, it's the fun fight, right? Like, what else are you gonna do with Benoit Saint-Denis? You've got.
He called for a BMF fight.
Good for you, man.
Well, I would love to see him get tuned up by Oliveira or Max Holloway.
Oliveira and Holloway are not fighting Benoit Saint-Denis. Oliveira would Holloway would have to have lost his goddamn mind to turn around and be like, "Yeah, I'm going to fight Benoit Saint-Denis. That's a good idea."
I'm also down to see him fight Saryukian. I think that would be awesome too.
I think there's a rumor that Gagey is fighting Saryukian.
If they do, then it would be for the undisputed.
I mean, it could be an interim title defense. UFC's done that kind of bullshit before.
Yeah, I guess. I can't remember the last time they did
that. Let's see. I know, obviously,
especially if it's like the White House, they're definitely going to strip Topuria. 100%.
Yeah,
100%. They're not doing a fucking interim title at the White House.
But yeah, I'm down for Benoit Saint-Denis versus Pimblett. I think that is the fun action fight. I do not think that there's a world where Holloway or Oliveira take that BMF fight with him.
Honestly, I just don't know if Patty would take the fight. I think he'd rather fight the loser of the BMF belt.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Patty, I would shoot for that too. I'd shoot for one of those very established star fights and
he's like he made it. He proved his worth in the elite level.
Yeah,
even in a loss, like he proved he belongs there. So I think he rightfully deserves to fight the loser of the BMF title.
Yeah. And that might just leave Benoit Saint-Denis to fight Gamrot or somebody like that, which is a less fun option, but it would be scramble filled and it's realistic,
Yeah, I'm fine with that. And then book Hooker versus Bahamondes.
Yeah,
that would be a banger.
That would be a lot of fun. Bahamondes or Manuel Torres.
Yeah.
Those would both be a lot of fun. I would even say I would be down for a Hooker Chandler rematch. Even, I would say.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's totally acceptable.
All right. That brings rating for Benoit Saint-Denis, Dan Hooker. What do you got?
I mean, heartbreak aside, right?
Yeah.
I got to give it a 5. Like, I got what I wanted to see in that first round from Hooker. He kind of proved me right. I knew he could do it. But to see him mess up so bad and pay for it, I kind of like that too. Like, you made a big ass blunder. You can't do that. So what you get.
I'll give it a 4 just because it made me tear my hair out so goddamn much. Be like, you don't have to fucking do this.
You went into the card with like long hair, like the sides were grown out. And you're just
That's right. Yeah. This half was as long as this half when I started that fight.
Or you had the Diego Lopes comb over mullet.
That's right. We did we got a quick comment here. Somebody reminding us, Chad Aspinall defended his interim belt. while Jones was sitting on the sideline forever. So just like a year or two ago, UFC did an interim title defense.
Okay. Who did he defend against?
He defended against oh God. Why am I forgetting this?
Because the Gone was for the Undisputed, right?
Yeah, that was after they stripped Jones. So he defended against Blades.
Okay. The rematch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. That brings us to Mauricio Hufi, Rafael Fiziev, and
Remember when you were
Rafael
shitting on
Fiziev.
Roofy, Mr. Hoofio?
Okay.
You didn't think he was elite. You told me to my face. You made it a point. You said he's not elite. He's not one of the guys.
He's an elite.
He's no John Silva.
He's an elite athlete, but I also got to blame a lot of this on Fiziev here. Because
you can blame whoever you want. Hoofy's elite.
He has a death touch. I won't deny that.
But he knows how to use it. He's not just out there wildly swinging the death touch.
No, like it's true.
He completely lured Fiziev into his trap. 100%.
Well, part of the problem, though, is that Fiziev did a ton of pressuring without throwing. He kept Hoofy on the back foot a lot, but he did like Fiziev. Hoofy he's very. I compare him to Darren Till, and I mean I don't even mean this in a bad way, but Till was great at making you think that he was a devastating counter fighter, but Till would rarely ever actually throw counter shots. Till wanted you to back off and give him space, and then he would lead with huge power shots. And Hoofy is a lot like that too. He looks like a devastating counter fighter, but whenever Fiziev would throw first while pressuring, Hoofy never countered. He would never come.
Like he can counter, but like that's not what he was trying today.
It's not what he does, though. It's in general. It's not how he fights. What he wants is he wants time and space to set up really creative single kill shots. And the way he gets that time and space is by looking like he's going to fuck you up every time you step in with a counter shot. Doesn't throw the counters, but he looks like he's throwing the counters.
I think he did it by, like, he backed himself up to the cage, took away all the footwork, and just had Fiziev stand in front of him while he made his reads and pop shot it.
But if Fiziev had actually, did, like I said, he did so much throwing without, or so much pressuring without throwing. It's just like, you can't be always walking into somebody without doing anything, you know? I think he really in some ways, he handed Hoofy that win. I would say Hoofy.
I'm going to be honest. Well, I picked Fiziev here, by the way.
I did too. Yeah.
But I didn't think he would be able to one-shot Fiziev.
I didn't think so either.
I didn't think it. And then, but like, as the fight went on and he actually started throwing, man, it was like an instant reminder of how hard he fucking hits.
Oh yeah, no, the dude
hits fucking hard.
He is a dynamic phenom when he has the space to get his reads and the time to get his reads. And Fiziev tried to slow play him. He tried to go out and have a cautious, slick fight with them, and it's just like.
But he did it without much space at all. Like, he did it with very little space tonight.
No, he took the space away, but he didn't throw the strikes. Benoit Saint-Denis did it without a lot of space too, but Benoit Saint-Denis just crowded him relentlessly with actual offense, and Hoofy had no answer to any of it.
Yeah.
Not even just the striking or the wrestling, but the striking too. Benoit Saint-Denis out.
That's really where Hoofy's going to struggle. It's like, remember what Justin Gaethje was saying last weekend about his game plan: champions, pressure, and throw.
Yeah.
So like that kind of style is going to give him problems. But Fiziev pressured, but like you said, he wasn't doing the throwing. Or like he wasn't throwing real combinations.
Mm-mm. Not enough to make Hoofy really pay for all of the positioning he was giving away. So that said, one-shotting Rafael Fiziev is remarkable. Hoofy is an amazing athletic talent. I still don't think he's got an elite game, but he is an amazing athletic talent. He is a danger to anyone, very clearly.
Yeah, he's elite. That's not a championship winning style, though.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, as for like who he could fight next, let's
He
see. I
called out
mean,
Paddy Pimblett.
yeah, Patty. That's a fight Patty's definitely not going to take. I would
I
love to
mean,
see him. I would love to see him actually fight Manuel Torres. That is, I know I mentioned that as a potential Manuel Santini, but Torres
here's a
Hoofy,
kind of off the beaten path idea, but let him fight Jalen Turner.
sure. Jalen Turner is good. We've also got Chad here recommending the Moicano Ribovic winner. Although that fight did that just get? Okay, yeah. Apparently, there's a rumor that Ribovic is stepping up for Ortega after Ortega pulled out from fighting Moicano. So yeah,
Okay.
I could see that. But I mean, you've also got like Torres right there, already ready to go. You got Jalen Turner right there. I think that's a good shout. Either of those work to me. I think really just keep Hoofy and borderline top level action fights.
Yeah,
That's
let
the
him
way.
keep posterizing people until
Yeah,
you put him in
until he
there
puts
with a elite grappler
exactly.
again.
Get him back to a streak that feels undeniable, and then throw him back there in front of Gamrot or
No, fuck no.
whatever.
That fight should never ever be booked ever, Zane. That is a waste of Hoofy. No.
It is. I agree. But they'll do it at some point just because they will. All right. That brings us to a heavyweight bout. Taliesin Teixeira, Tai Tuivasa. And man, I didn't, I knew Tai Tuivasa was on a skid, and I knew he wasn't getting better. I didn't really realize how much worse he is than the guy who beat Andrei Arlovsky in 2018. Like, that version of Tai Tuivasa was not more technically proficient than this one, although he might have been. Actually, I feel like I remember Tuivasa throwing some good combos and stuff in that fight. But that Tai Tuivasa didn't get tired immediately or make in decisions I can't even fathom. Like, he at one point tried to do the Hunt Cepho thing where he like put his head down and he's just like tanking the punches off of his forehead.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, well, I get it. Your hands are down. You're ready then to like defend a shot or something and to answer with your own punches. And he then gets blast doubled by what I can only describe as a blast double because of the way he reacted to it, not any blast nature to it. Like, Teixeira just sort of like stumbles forward into him, and Tuivasa with his hands down, leaning into Teixeira, just tipped over and sat down. And it's just like, man, why do you like bare knuckle boxing exists? Regular boxing exists. You don't have to do MMA. It's not like he's making huge money as a mid-card UFC filler fighter.
Yeah.
You know? I don't understand why he's doing something where so many parts of it seem like stuff he just hates.
Maybe he is trying to break Sam Alvey's record.
Yeah, maybe. We got Volkanovski gunning for Aldo and Tuivasa gunning for Sam Alvey.
But I
But
mean, let's throw him in there with someone like far outside of the rankings and see what happens.
I mean, this should have been that, but it's just I
Yeah.
don't know why you keep a guy on 6 straight losses at that point,
Well,
really.
I don't know
Like,
how you're ranked number 12 with 5
no.
losses.
Like, it's at some point the UFC needs to be looking at themselves and saying, like, has this is there something left to be gotten out of this experiment, out of this guy who is not in any better shape than he was 5 years ago as a pro athlete and doesn't seem to know anything more about MMA than he did 5 years ago? Like, at what point do you just say, just let him go? Who's picking up Tai Tuivasa right now and turning him into their star attraction? You know,
Nobody.
yeah. There's no
But
that's
also, well, first of all, we didn't even rate the Hoofy fight.
oh
That's a
yeah.
5. That's a 5 for me.
I I will give it a 4.2 for the electric finish, but also it's just kind of a tepid kickboxing match until that amazing finish.
All right, back to this one though. I got to throw some shame on Teixeira.
Yeah,
Okay, you have Tuivasa fully mounted, exhausted, looking. I don't want to say looking for a way out, but definitely looking like he didn't want to be there.
yeah,
And you can't find the finish. You're gassing out from being in the full mount. That's insanity. Like that's insane. That's a
no.
bad look. That is a
But
bad look.
he's also 26 and has barely like it doesn't make sense the UFC's throwing him into these fights. The man beat Justin Tafa and went to fighting Derek Lewis and Tai Tuivasa.
Yeah, but you
Like,
think Tuivasa should be cut?
yeah, but like all of this, I'm just saying, like experience wise, they're just you've got a prospect in Teixeira who's not ready for experienced talent very clearly, and then you've got a fighter in Tai Tuivasa who, you know what, fine, it's suitable to use him as a stepping stone for Teixeira. It's cruel, but it's useful. But then you got to get rid of Tuivasa. Like he has served that purpose, and there's nothing left. There's no meat left on that bone. There's a lot of
Nah,
gristle.
there is
There's a
some. Like I
lot of
said, give him someone really far outside of the rankings and just see what happens. And if he can't pull that off, then yeah, cut him.
all right. You're so kind. Such a
But
generous
also,
soul.
I think it really also speaks to the depth of heavyweight. Just it's hard to get talent.
It is, but the UFC, the UFC's just they're clinging with a death grip onto every fighter that they can't that like feels to them like they have some value. And at some point, like you've got to just I don't need to see this stuff, you know? The third round of this fight was terrible. It was so bad, you know?
No, it was. You're right. They should have given them like 5 minutes in between the second and the third.
Yes. Yeah. This was your a perfect case for, fight that should only be booked for like 7 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
That's the rule.
What do
Uh
you give if you had to rank it? Well, you do have to rank
oh,
it. Give it a
yeah,
rating.
I'm giving it a 1. It's a
Okay.
tragedy.
I'll give it a 2. There was a late scare there where Tuivasa came out in the third throwing the ham hocks. I like seeing that.
Yeah, it's too bad that he was so tired that even with a clear I wanted to score this fight. I will say this. I think it should be uh vibes wise, it's a draw. Give Tuivasa a 10-8 round 3. Not because
Yeah.
he earned it, but because nobody deserved to win.
Yes. 100%. And yeah, I could have easily given that a 10-8
Yeah.
just for all the fuckery. So,
All right.
yeah.
That brings us to an actually good performance. Killian Saul killed against Jamie Malarkey, and man, Salt killed. I like his game a lot. I like how he's developing.
Mm-hmm.
This was a very easy pick to me. This felt like a,
Yeah, he was a
you know,
massive favorite here.
yeah,
Like,
Malarkey is
this was a no-brainer.
he is a guy that doesn't avoid a fight, but against any really aggressive or dynamic or dangerous fighters, Malarkey tends to then put himself in enough danger to be finished.
Yeah.
So
He got
I felt
hit
like,
with, like, a modified rock bottom.
yeah, yeah.
That lateral drop was sick.
So I really love seeing what Saul Kill is doing. I love seeing just he has great finishing instincts and really good creative instincts as a fighter. Like I still
And
think,
pretty well-rounded.
yeah, he needs, like, I feel like some of the, the little technical tricks and like stuff, especially with striking, isn't quite there, or with footwork and stuff. But that's all stuff that should hopefully get solved purely with time and experience.
Mhm.
The instincts and the creativity and the dynamism, that's the stuff that, like, those are the X factors you really can't even train into somebody, and that's the stuff that he has really clearly in spades. So
You know how you, get him to work on those things on the feet, those technical details? You put him in there with Drew Dober.
ooh, yeah, you could.
Put him in
You
there with
could.
Dober.
He's calling for a top 15 fight that would have the top 15 feel of it. Dober is just coming off a win, but is looking vulnerable enough that even, that I would be picking Salt Kills in that fight. So
I might.
yeah,
It it could also be a hard lesson.
if you want to give him a real hard lesson, you could book him with Fares Ziam. That would be,
That feels like too much too soon.
yeah,
That dude is lethal. That dude, that's too much too soon. Give him Dober, you know. I feel like that's make him fight someone who's got power, who's gonna come at you, reasonably versed in takedown defense.
yeah.
Make him earn it. But you get
Dober's a
through
good,
Dober, yeah, throw him in the top 15.
Dober's a good shout. Uh, yeah. Honestly, I'm looking at what the other options. I would have said somebody like Alexander Hernandez, but Hernandez has clearly currently got bigger things to worry about.
Yeah, like the FBI.
Yeah, and although, hey, if that means that Michael Johnson needs a fight, then I would also see Salt Killed versus Johnson too, as a,
Yeah,
you know,
okay, sure.
yeah, or two, Ludovic Klein out there.
Ooh, that's a hard
Tough.
test.
Yeah,
That's a real hard test. I like
those are
the Dober fight, though.
I like the Dober fight too. All right. That brings us to a light heavyweight. Oh, we got to score it. I'll give it a 5 right away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was a 5. Rock bottom, back take RNC, clean.
Yep.
That's what you do to Jamie Malarkey.
Yeah,
You
you
get
got
him the fuck out of
you
there.
got a sideways, even a backward step, honestly, from the Hawk Prost. You got a back step fight, a chance to just show up and show everybody how talented you are. And you go out and you show everybody how talented you are. Like,
Yeah.
that's a win. All right. That brings us to a light heavyweight bout. Billy Elikana, Junior Tafa, and man, I don't know what's in the water at Camp Tafa, but don't give it to me. It seems deleterious. Like
Um,
he had this fight so in the bag, but his game is one of the, even at light heavyweight and heavyweight, the land of guys who do half a thing. It's like, oh, he hits hard, not clean or whatever, but he hits hard, or oh, he can grapple, can't wrestle, but he can grapple. That's the kind of area of MMA that is. Even by those standards, Tafa has one of the most narrow skill sets I've ever seen in MMA, which is like purely hooks and uppercuts. Those are the only things that he does. All other parts of MMA he does not engage in.
You know the deal with the Toffa brothers, right?
Yeah.
Like it's Mike Hunt, the Timu Mark Hunt. Like that's just what it is.
I gotta say,
he what's that?
I was gonna say he also has an absolutely indecipherable, at least for me, back tattoo that I'm trying to figure out. It's a huge like undead samurai head with like holding a sword, and then like a bald eagle right next to it. And I have no clue what that's. For a guy from like New Zealand, where do you get like come out with and not even like a Japanese styled samurai where it's like, oh, I got a big, traditional Japanese samurai demon with the eagle tattoos. Like, yeah, okay, Japan's got a whole bunch of cool shit that looks like that. But you're doing like some like 90s comic book art style on that. You got this like stars and stripes forever looking eagle.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You
It's
gotta
a
ask
wild tattoo. It's a wild tattoo. I'm only saying this too because I spent all day at a tattoo expo, apart from the fights today. So it's been on the mind.
You should hit him up, tag him in this when we repost this on Twitter.
I'll say at least it's not as bad as Hoofy's chest tattoo, which went from he got a bad tattoo covered with another bad tattoo. Because I think he had True Striker on his chest in big letters, but my guess would be because he's Brazilian and got it done in Brazil. It said True Stiker on it.
Oh no. They misspelled it. Oh shit.
And so he got it covered with a huge One Piece inspired thing that is just an absolute indecipherable mess of black ink. Like you cannot for the life of you tell what that thing is supposed to look like.
Maybe he'll change it up and go blackout. You know how people do like the blackout sleeves or whatever? Maybe he'll just do it a chest piece just blacked out.
Yeah. No, it does have to. We do have to note. I know we're getting distracted, but somebody, Rusty here brought up. We do have to note pacing was so much better tonight.
Yeah, I feel like the prelims dragged a little bit.
It did, but they ended the card an hour earlier than last week.
Yeah,
starting the pay-per-view, the main card at the same time.
And we got corner cams, so I think they're listening at least.
Yeah,
which is rare.
Yeah. So, all right. Elicana.
But yeah, the RNC, I mean, that's what I expected.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner.
No.
I think Toffa did a good job of just staying in the center. But, I mean, I think he got to a point of like a level of comfort where he was like, oh, I've got this in the bag.
Yeah.
And nothing this guy can do is going to hurt me. And then he gets stunned and backs himself up, and then he's getting strangled.
Yeah. Good performance from Elicana, honestly, to fight his way out of him getting absolutely shelled at the beginning of that fight. To fight his way back into it. Well done from him,
Yeah.
I thought he did well to actually like recover and be confident enough to not stop pressuring and throwing his own offense. He didn't just get hurt and then spend the rest of the fight on the back foot trying not to get hurt again.
No, yeah, he sacked up for sure.
I don't really care who he fights next, but
What do you rate this?
I will give this, you know what? I'll give it a solid 4. It was messy, but it was fun.
I give it a 5.
Yeah.
You know, you got a big overhand, Elikana's on the ropes, but weathers the storm, comes back, does his own damage on the feet, and gets the choke, and we didn't have to see Toph in the 3rd round. 5.
All right. That brings us to a middleweight bout. Rouston, Brundage, and yeah, it took a minute for Rouston to kind of remember that he's like 6 inches taller and has 6 inches of reach on Cody Brundage. But the moment he got that message, he put this fight away pretty easily.
Yeah. Definitely kind of a clunky start for him, for sure.
Yeah. He basically just kept trying to fight Brundage chest to chest. And then it's just like, you're way taller than this guy. All you're doing at that point is taking your own reach away from you.
Well, I think he really wanted to work in the clinch.
Yeah.
He really wanted like knees in the clinch, elbows. That I think so in his mind, that was the fight he was going to have, even if it's not easily there or given to him.
Yeah.
He was going to force it and make it happen, and kind of didn't work. So
No.
yeah, he
But
had
then
to
that just
adjust.
made him sit down at range and say, okay, well, what if I throw long, straight shots? And it's like, it works really well. You should do that a lot. So, all things considered, solid performance from him. And, rough
He
outing
should
for
fight.
Brundage.
He should fight Susurkayev.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
That would be fun.
Susukaev would be a really fun fight. Let's see, did I have something else on my tip?
Ruzaboev.
Yeah, that would also be.
Nurse Sultan. Could be unique.
Why am I not even seeing him in the roster? Did I sort the wrong thing? No? Huh. But yeah, either way, those would be fun. I would also, he could fight like, well, I mean, Brad Tavares' win was actually kind of a big deal, and Brishek being as old as he is would make more sense to give Brishek some other old action fighter, but something like that, or yeah, I mean, honestly,
Susurkayev seems like the perfect test for each other.
I agree. Oh, there he is. There's Preston, 2-0 now. Susurkayev does definitely seem just right. All right, that brings us to rating for that. I'll give it like the Elikana fight, another right in like solid 4 territory. Sloppy, but
yeah, I think a 4. 4 is appropriate. I feel like it's a 4. It's a Cody Brundage fight.
Mm-hmm. That brings us to a middleweight bout: Jacob Malkoun, Torres Finney, and on the one hand, I absolutely loved this fight because I have a soft spot for Jacob Malkoun. He's tiny, he's not terribly athletic, and he clearly has to work really hard for everything. B, I was worried that he would somehow get really punished by being a lot less powerful than Torres Finney. So it made me very happy to see Malkoun largely just go out in style on him. That said,
style, I don't think is the right word, but go ahead.
He did early on. He was absolutely like, he got a 10-8 round in the first round. Like,
Yeah. But Torres Finney, when it comes to punches, he doesn't throw many.
No.
Okay.
No. And it is still one of these things where Malkoun, he's working at such an athlete deficit that Torres Finney, even just late in the fight, sitting down and be like, I got to throw some stuff, actually had moments to claw his way back into this fight.
I hated everything about this fight, Zane.
I'm mostly just happy to see Malkoun win it and to see Finney lose it, because Finney is as unfun as fighters get.
Anything other than a finish here for Malkoun is unacceptable. You finally have, reach over somebody. You have someone on one wheel. They're a sitting duck
Yeah.
who doesn't throw volume. Zero reason to not get a
He
finish here.
he should never have been trying to submit Torres Finney, going for all those chokes. Like, that man.
Look, if you have to hobble on one foot for the decision to be read, your
Yeah.
opponent fucked up.
Yep.
Unexcusable. Like,
It's true.
unexcusable. You didn't
It
even kick the other leg. You didn't even think to kick the good leg. For shame. I hated this fight. This is a 1. I give this fight a 1.
I am giving it a passionate 3 for seeing Malkoun go out and get the job done
It's
and
disgusting, Zane.
seeing Finney lose. All right. Future fights for Malkoun. Somebody sitting here suggesting Marc-Andre Barrio. Sure. I mean,
Power bar.
he's just a workaday middleweight, so it's not like there's some magic sauce out there for him to get a fight. That I will say I do need at some point to see him fight Jun Young Park,
Oh,
because
yeah. Okay.
those are my two favorite try hard middleweights. So for
No, I
my
love me
sake,
some Park.
I'm gonna say, and they're both tiny too. So I'm gonna say do Malkoun versus Park.
Okay. But honestly, I'm not
I
excited to
know.
see Malkoun fight. I'm just
I
not.
have a soft spot for the unathletic guys that have to work extra hard.
I guess.
All right. And then I didn't see the rest of the card. So if you got any
Okay.
highlights you want to talk about, throw them at me. But this is whatever I can.
So Obon Elliott got technically submitted after a really strong start. Like, he did really well. Like, he was coming out super fast hands, landing all the volume, and then got dropped at the end of the first. And then second round, he got taken down, back taken, got put to sleep. Like, total winnable fight for Obon Elliott. Shit the bed. Before that, Iza. Some people might have feel like he got robbed in this one, but I feel like the judges kind of got it right. Like, the first round was really close and could have gone either way. I gave the second round a 10-8 for Isa. I'm not sure how to say that. And then
Yija, yeah.
Ija, and then Ofli taking the third. So I scored it a draw. One judge scored it a draw, but Ofli took the decision there.
All right. And then you mentioned Nakamura, right?
Yeah, that was a good fight. So, man, it was a banger. Like, back and forth. And like, what's that guy's name? Saleh Sal
Zale.
Zale. He was doing really good work in the pocket, landing body shots, using his hands, but he kept leading with his head. There were a couple clashes of heads there, and like, and I had this whole spiel I was going to dump out on the show about how, if somebody is entering the pocket with their head leading, it is a great opportunity to counter with like a thrust elbow or a
Yeah.
tomahawk, something like that. Well, the third round, Nakamura comes out and just throws a wicked knee up the middle and just knocked him out and got on top, pounded him out. And I was like, oh, yeah, well, that's also an excellent counter for someone leading with their head like that into the pocket.
Nice.
And there was a comeback. Nakamura was down on the scorecards. So it was a pretty cool comeback for him.
Nice. Yeah. All right. Well, overall for the card, I would give this a 2.5, I think. Maybe a
Yeah, I'll give it like a
3.
2, between 2.5 and 2.9. I don't think it can quite
Yeah.
touch the 3. I feel like the main event was a little too surgical.
Yeah, and felt unnecessary. So it was just like, okay, we didn't learn anything new. And there were some cool moments in other fights
Yeah.
and all that, but very few, like, there were very few fights where I felt like the whole fight as itself overall was both very high level and very fun to watch.
It would have been better if they didn't put the Tuivasa fight on the main card.
Yeah, that shouldn't have been there. All right. On that note, we're going to wrap it up. You can find me on Twitter at the Zane Simon. You can find Eddie on Twitter at the Eddie Mercado. You can find me over on Blue Sky and Substack at Zane Simon. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Adios.